You know, we're not denying that, Punk may have done just as much Make a Wish as Cena did. We're not denying that, he didn't do as many charities as Cena did. It's just that I think you may have over exaggerated on some of those. I'm not, I'm not denying he probably didn't outsell John as far as the merchandise goes. But I think you got to look at the little details. You got to look at some details there, like what portions of merchandise did he outsell him on? Did he outsell him in the, like clothing line, like the John Cena shirts? Because I think a lot of the John Cena shirts, believe it or not, were kid size stuff. Get what I'm saying? Kid size, child size. Well, the Punk stuff may have been more adult wise. But you see, that's the entire thing. I'm not denying that maybe during the summer of Punk, at certain times he did outsell John Cena as far as merchandise went. Do I believe he outsold him all the way? No. I think it was just for a certain period of time. I think when he was the champion, it was the summer of Punk and all that. He did outsell him. There's no denying that. So I honestly, I just don't. Honestly, I think he did outsell him for a portion of time, but not completely. Not completely. I think it was like a short amount of time, portion of time, he did outsell John, but not completely. But again, I'm not denying he didn't do as many Make a Wish as John. He may have done just as many, if not a little below it, but I'm not denying that. But he is right. You know, the person that always gets the adulation of always doing Make a Wish is John Cena. John's always the guy that gets that, that spotlight on it. And is that fair? No. But if you're trying to make him be the face of your company, the next Hulk Hogan of your company, or this generation's version of Hulk Hogan, then so be it. So be it. But does that make any sense in the end? No. Do I think WWE should acknowledge everybody, visually on television and say, oh yeah, this person did it, this person did it, this happened? Yeah, I think they need to give everybody equal opportunity. But that's the WWE thinking for you. And unless things change, that's always how it's going to be. Now, as far as his last day goes, you know, it goes back to what I said in the first video. It shows you how desperate WWE is when they know they need someone like Punk, staph infection and all, which he later found out about, staph infection and all, when they need CM Punk concussion as well to remain, to stay with the company. Even though he's got a concussion, he's got a staph infection that could kill him, they still want him to stay with the company. And then this is what really kind of makes and I think I mentioned this in the first video, makes you realize that WWE is hypocritical eternally as well. And I'm not talking about what I talked about in the first three videos, about the movies and stuff like that. This shows you how hypocritical they are from a rehabilitation, drug standpoint, and all that. Here you have CM Punk the day after the Rumble, doing a concussion test, passing, even though he's not really shouldn't have passed, being asked to run the ropes when he shouldn't, Now all of a sudden here you have him talking with Vince and Triple H, and they're asking him to take a piss test. Generally, a piss test on a guy that's basically practically drug free, or was drug free, as some people would put it, because of the stinking drugs that got pumped into him with that medication packs that they would give him. But still, legitimately drug free if you want to look at it from another standpoint. But, here's a guy. Here's a guy that basically is asked to do a piss test. And he doesn't want to do it because there's nothing to hide. He knows he's got a concussion. He knows he's got a staph infection. And then you have someone like Triple H saying, oh, well, Batista took a piss test. And it's like, okay. And then again, this is the hypocrisy. This is basically the lie that WWE likes to hide from you. This is basically the lie that they like to hide from you when suddenly, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the apparent heir to the throne comes out, is completely silenced when you have someone like CM Punk said, okay, did you take a piss test? Legitimately asking him that. When he mentions, oh, well, Batista took one, you have Punk retaliate by saying, well, did you take one? Complete silence. And I think that's the one thing. You see, it's basically the fact that WWE is desperate. And they don't care if you're injured or you're not. Some injuries they cannot avoid. Daniel Bryan's neck injury, can't avoid that. Nerve issues and all that, even though apparently they're getting better, can't avoid that. Roman Reigns' injury, can't avoid that. So basically, there are certain injuries you can't avoid, and apparently some in the WWE's mind that you can. A concussion, really. Then what the heck was Dolph Ziggler for the past few weeks when he got one? Not once, but twice. Where's Christian been? Huh? Exactly. Overall, I think Punk, after hearing his side of the story and after hearing the recaps and all that, as much as I hate seeing him go and leaving the way he did, I think he had a legitimate gripe. I think when you had enough's enough, and basically when you've had enough of the BS that was fed to him, and basically because of this BS you lose the passion and love that you have for something that you loved your entire life, you've been a fan of your entire life. I don't blame him. I don't blame him for walking. Because if this is the BS you're going to feed him, he's basically telling you, screw you, I'm not taking this anymore. And that's it. I mean, I do like the fact that he acknowledged that he did mention this. He said, hey, let me just go. And fine. There was no walkout. It's no like, oh, he didn't show or anything. It's like, no, he had a talk with them, and, that was it. Do we like the hypocrisy of the fact that WWE and Vince McMahon lie to even the stockholders and say, oh, well, he's on sabbatical? Do I like the hypocrisy and, stupidity of WWE firing him on his wedding day? Of course not. Of course I don't like it. I think it's stupid. And I think WWE needs to be held accountable for that. But like I said, I think they need to be held accountable for that. And that's just the way I look at it. And I think it's time for WWE to, um, shape up or ship out. I think the only thing fans are worried about is AJ. And hopefully this won't affect AJ. But you know what? We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Just gotta pray that AJ Lee doesn't get punished. And hopefully she can explain, hey, that was my husband saying, I had nothing to do with it. But that's just my thoughts, 4 parts, if you will, on the whole CM Punk form that he was given by Colt Cabana on the Art of Wrestling. Let me know what you guys think down below.